it's time to make a decision on what the best set of alternatives are and implement those alternatives. I don't know yet what the specific mix will be, but I do know we need to actually start implementing solutions.
Thank you, sir. Open public process next year to redistrict the boundaries for the House of Delegates and state Senate seats.
I think there should be an open bipartisan process for redistricting both the congressional districts as well as the state, Senate, and House of Delegates districts. If I recall correctly, when the Republicans were in the minority, they supported that, and the Democrats didn't. Someday when there's exactly 50 delegates from each party and exactly 20 senators from each party, maybe we'll actually have a bipartisan commission established to do that. That's what I think.
Thank you, sir. I read this one. Relationship between your office and the County Board of Supervisors, your office being the one that you're competing for.
The House of Delegates. Well, I've gotten to know all the members of the current Board of Supervisors because of my role on the Planning Commission. The 27th district is the only district that lies entirely within Chesterfield County. All the other districts, a majority of the voters reside outside the county. Some of them, only one or two precincts in Chesterfield are part of a House district. So I see this particular seat as being crucial in maintaining communications between the board and the House of Delegates. My intent would be to encourage board members individually, I guess up to groups of 2, because of the public meeting rules, to meet with me either in the county government complex or perhaps in Richmond to make sure that I'm kept up to date on the issues that they see. At the same time, I'll be meeting with citizens, encouraging citizens to come to me to find out what they see the issues as being. So yeah, I see this as a very important function for this particular House seat.
Thank you. Continued increase in coal burning plants in Virginia.
Well, something's got to be done. And let me just make sure I say everything that I want to say about the environment in general.
There's a second part to this question.
There's a second part to this question.
So,
Well,
which is, are you in favor of drilling for oil off of Virginia's coast? So there's an
I'll answer
oil
that question.
and a coal
No.
question.
And I'll come back to that.
Okay.
The consumption of fossil fuels is going to end one way or another. The price will, as supplies, easily accessible supplies are reduced, the cost will go up. If you've had just a few weeks of the basics of microeconomics, you know that that's going to happen. Supply goes down, quantity demanded, when the supply falls, the price and quantity consumed both, the price goes up, quantity consumed goes down. You wouldn't know I had an undergraduate degree in economics, so I stumbled through that. The coal is dirty, and the cost of cleaning the output of coal-fired plants is quite high and incomplete. The need exists for continued development of alternative sources of energy. Wind, onshore wind farms are perhaps in the mountains might generate significant electricity, but even though we have people in Chesterfield County who are interested wind generator, that's probably not viable for most of us. We've got to find other alternatives to make the use of fossil fuels be reduced. Now, the offshore oil thing. The oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, which is continuing to pump an unspecified, perhaps unknown number of barrels into the Gulf every day, started with the loss of 11 lives. That alone was a significant tragedy. But the spill itself and the aftermath, to me, represent a lack of accountability, an unwillingness to take responsibility, and the inability to just simply to do or to have done the right thing. The cost of this spill may never be accurately and completely measured. I saw a headline, I didn't have time to read the article, where BP said their costs so far were either $450 million or $850 million that they had incurred because of their own fouling of the water down there. We're never going to know what the total costs are. They still haven't stopped the flows, so we don't know how much that's going to cost. We don't know how much it's going to cost to clean up the mess. There'll be plenty of economists that went beyond bachelor's training who will be willing to estimate the cost to the fishing industry and the tourist industry and other users of the Gulf of Mexico, cruise ships, sports fishermen, the cost to restoring the coastline, the cost in terms of habitat destruction, the long-term and negative environmental impacts. All those will never be measured in dollars. And the chances of them happening again, in my opinion right now, particularly for deep water drilling, is too high, too difficult to determine, and therefore, to my short answer, no, I would not support offshore drilling off the coast of Virginia or anywhere else.
Thank you, sir. Section of the forum. Now we will proceed with the questions from the audience. Please, sir, remember the next biennium is balanced, in great part by dramatically reducing employer contributions to the Virginia retirement system. In your opinion, was that a fiscally sound decision? If so, explain why. If not, explain why not.
No. The amount of an employer's contribution to a defined benefit plan is based on a number of assumptions. People called actuaries are employed to make or evaluate the reasonableness of those assumptions. A short list of what you're assuming are how long, because it's based, the formula is based on longevity, you have to make predictions about how long the average employee is going to work for the state. You have to predict what their average compensation will be in, what is it, the last 5 years of their employment. You have to predict how long they will live after they retire, and because there's an option of including your spouse to receive continued benefits, you have to predict how long the employee's spouse is going to live. And then you have to predict what rate of return the investments will earn. And basically what the state legislature did was say, we're going to ignore that stuff, we're going to put less money in, and we're going to let future generations pay for it by making up the shortfall when people start retiring. If you have experts that you've hired to give you advice on a particular item, particularly one as complex as the series of predictions I just described, you risk financial